Hare Krishna. Welcome to today's Bhagavad Gita class. So we're first going to begin with the Jai Radha Madhava prayers. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Yamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodhanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamunatira Vanachari Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutaye Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutaye Ate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Prasyatya Desatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, thank you. Yes. Om Ganartimyandasya Gananjana Salakaya Chakchurun Militanyena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutaye Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharne Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Prasyatya Desatarne. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shrivasadi Gaura Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So thank you. Today we're reading from chapter 18, text number 34. So before I begin speaking, I'd like to seek your blessings so that I may be able to speak something worthwhile, and also to those who may be listening online. Vancha kalpa tarubhascha kripa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Yeah, so we'll start with the Sanskrit, and then if you'd like to repeat after me also. Ya tu dharma karmartan Dritya Daryate Arjuna Prasangena Phalankangsi Driti Sa Partha Rajasi. Ya tu dharma karmatan Dritya Daryate Arjuna Prasangena Phalankangsi Driti Saparta Rajasi. Yaya tu Dharma Karma Tan. Darchya Daryate Arjuna. Prasangena Falakangsi. Driti Saparta Rajasi. So would anyone like to try to recite? Yaya tu Dharma Karma Tan. Dritya Daryate Arjuna. Sorry. Prasangena Phalankangsi. Driti Saparta Rajasi. Yaya tu Dharma Karma Tan. Dritya Daryate Arjuna. Prasangena Phalankangsi. Driti Saparta Rajasi. Would anyone else like to try the recitation? Yaya tu Dharma Karma Tan. Dharate Arjuna. Dritya Daryate Arjuna. Prasangena Falakangsi. And Driti Saparta Rajasi. Thank you. So we'll continue on. We'll do the straight to the translation and purport. So, translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. But that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, or Arjuna. So if you can please repeat after me. By that determination by which one holds fast to fruitive results in religion, economic development, and sense gratification is of the nature of passion, or Arjuna. And purport. Any person who is always desirous of fruitive results in religious or economic activities, whose only desire is sense gratification, and whose mind, life and senses are thus engaged, is in the mode of passion. So it's a very small purport, so I'll just repeat it one more time. Any person who is always desirous of fruitive results in religious or economic activities, his only desire is sense gratification, and whose mind, life and senses are thus engaged, is in the mode of passion. So we have the three modes of material nature. I'm not sure if you're familiar with these, but they're tamas, rajas, and sattvagun. So this is goodness, ignorance, and passion. So it's these three material modes of nature. These are what actually influences in this material world. So we're here in this material world, and we're under the spell of these material natures, of these material modes of nature. So this material nature is one of Krishna's energies. Krishna has three primary energies. His internal energy, his external energy, and then the marginal energy. So it's us living entities, we're the spirit souls, and we consist of the marginal energy. So we're in between the internal energy and the external energy. The internal energy is the spiritual energy, and the external energy is the material energy. So this whole material world is comprised of the material energy. So it's only material energy is just matter. There's no life in it. It's simply just dead matter. So what gives life to this actual material energy is the soul, or the superior energy. So by our good fortune, we're part of the superior spiritual energy, and we're what Krishna calls his parts and parcels. Mame vamso jivaloke jivabhuta sanatanaha. That we're eternally his parts and parcels. So what does this mean? It means that we're individually a unique individual, and that's eternal. So we have our own unique nature, and that will remain so always. So God has his own nature, and so we're his parts and parcels, eternal parts and parcels. So we can never be the same as God. So we have our own, what Sri Prabhupada describes as constitutional position. So if you heard of, the word dharma, so dharma means duty. So everything has a dharma. So for example, if the soul has a dharma, and the example is like if we take sugar and water. Sugar is naturally sweet, and then water. So water, it has the quality of wetness. So the soul, its natural quality is that of a servitor. So this is our eternal position. So there's a verse in the Bhagavad Gita which says, Prakriti kriyamana ni gone karmani sarvasaha ahankara vimodatama kartaha miti manyate. So the spirit soul bewildered by the false ego, thinks itself to be the doer of activities, which in actuality are carried out by the three modes of material nature. So due to the influence of these three modes of material nature, we think that it's ourselves who are carrying out these activities in the material world. But in actual fact, this is our false ego, our false identification with the body. And through that false identification, we think that we'll find happiness, as it mentions here, through fruit of results. So in religion, economic development, and sense gratification. So when we speak about actual happiness, real happiness, it can't be found in the material world. It says in the Bhagavad Gita, Che samsarsa jaboga dukeonea evite adiyadvanta konteya natashu ramate buddha. That basically that a wise person does not delight in the sources of misery. So they're basically impermanent, and they only actually give us distress. So this is the nature of the material world. When we try to actually enjoy in the material world, we simply we become more and more entangled in the mode of in the different modes of material nature. So here it's talking about the mode of passion. So it's these different modes of material nature that we're under their spell and will become more and more entangled. But ultimately, it won't actually give us that true happiness. So, in terms of religion, Shri Shri Radhakunanda ki, Shri Shri Sitaram Laxman Hanuman ki, Shri Shri Gaurnitai ki. So in terms of religion, Sri Prabhupada, he speaks about this as well, that we identify, it's all part of the bodily conception in terms of we identify with a religion, we identify with a nationality. So we may say I'm British, I'm Indian, American, African, and so on. So these are all material designations. And likewise, we may say I'm Hindu, Christian, and so on like that. But these are still, this is not what the soul identifies as. The soul doesn't identify as this. The soul only identifies as the servitor. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Sarvadharman parityagya mamekam saranam vraja hamsam sarve papebhyo moksyamyam suchaha, that simply abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. I will deliver you from all sinful reactions. Do not fear. So this is what Krishna is telling us, that we have a higher aspiration, that religion is only to guide us to actually realize our eternal position. So all these different scriptures of the world, they're there naturally to help us to develop our true love for God, so our true love for the Supreme. And when we actually, ultimately Krishna is saying the goal is just surrender unto me. So that's the goal of all religion, to develop our loving relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And I'm not sure if you're so familiar with what the scriptures have said is the actual process for this age. So the process for this age is recommended in scriptures as Hari Kirtan. So it's the chanting, the glorification of the Supreme Lord. So this is the age of Kali Yuga. And as we can see in this material world, it's so full of the different modes, ignorance and passion. And people are so, 99.999% of the world is under the modes of ignorance and passion. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, is it Mamna Duskritina Mudaha Prapadyante Naradama Mayaya Praharta Jnana Asuram Bhavam Asritaha, that there are 4 kinds of miscreants. So these are, first of all, it's those who are simply, and this is epitomizes in terms of the mode of passion. These are the fruit of workers. So the mudahas, these are the people who actually, Sri Prabhupada describes as the laborers, that they're simply, all their consciousness is preoccupied is with working. And he compares these actually to the, like the animal, like the ass, that the ass will work so hard just for a morsel of grass. But it doesn't understand that, it doesn't know actually that the Supreme Lord is the actual supplier of everything. So this is the situation of the ass. And so it works so hard for a morsel of grass, and grass is plenty available everywhere. So this is the position of one certain class of miscreant, that they don't realize that the Supreme Lord is the provider of everyone, and they work very hard as the primary goal of life, just to simply enjoy in the material world. And then there's the next class. So this is the Naradama. So these are the certain class of a person who they may have sophisticated, and this is 99% of the world, that they have sophisticated social system. You may have your social science and economic development, but there's no actual religion there, and their life isn't actually geared towards religion. And Sri Prabhupada actually describes in the purport that this is 99.9% of society. And these people are actually called the lowest among mankind. And then there's and the next class is those who are actually learned philosophers and so on. And we have many examples of those as well. But even there's one, I won't mention his name, but one well-known philosopher, and they asked him about his opinion on God, and he was quite disgusted that, no, I don't. He simply saw that God wasn't practical. So these are the kind of philosophers, and these are the philosophers whose knowledge is stolen by illusion. Maya Praharta Jnana. So that's one class. And then the final class is the Asuram Bhavam Asritaha, that those who partake of the atheistic nature of demons. So these are the people who are completely averse to God and are, completely atheistic in nature. But then Sri Prabhupada, the Bhagavad Gita mentions that there are also those then who actually come to the path of devotional service. So they're the 4 different types also. So the first one is the person in distress. Then it's the person who's desirous of wealth. And then it's the person who's inquisitive. And then finally it's the person who's actually seeking for the absolute truth. So these are the different types of people who will become devotees. So whether we take shelter of Krishna in all different conditions, but Krishna is so happy, he just wants us to actually to take shelter of him, whether we're one of these 4 categories. And ultimately, when we speak about all these different fruitive activities, all of them can be perfected if they're actually engaged in the service of the Lord. So Sri Prabhupada equates Hari Kirtan, the glorification of the Lord, to also our dharma, our activities. If we actually work for Krishna, if we're a painter, if we paint for Krishna, if we're a singer and we sing for Krishna, that's our life is a glorification of the Lord. And it's a verse from the Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.22 that Sri Prabhupada mentions that this is actually counted as Hari Kirtan, glorification of the Lord. So Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yat karosi yadasnasi yajahosi dadasinat yatapasyasya kunteya tat karusva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever austerities you perform, whatever you offer or give away in charity, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. So Krishna says he just wants whatever we do, we have to do it for Krishna, and that's the perfection of our life. So this is how Krishna says this is how we become immortal. that we become purified, and we no longer identify with the three modes of material nature, the influence of the bodily conception of life, and we naturally simply just rise above that. And so this is the possibility of engaging in devotional service. Savarpadi vinirmuktam tatvaratveina nirlam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhaktaruchite. That when we engage in the service of the Lord, purification takes place. So this whole world, if you notice in the wildfires recently in California, how could they stop them? Were they able to contain them? Or, there's so many examples of these different wildfires, and whether they have helicopters, fire brigades, they can't actually quell the fire. So they have to wait until the rain clouds will actually disperse the fire and quell it. So this is what we sing every morning. Samsaradava Naliluka Tranaya Karunya Gunarnavasvam. That simply by the mercy of the spiritual master, like a rain cloud, they'll actually pour water on the blazing fire of material existence. So this whole material existence is like a blazing fire that we simply don't have the means to control it, and we're the ones who are controlled. So only by the mercy of the spiritual master, and that's the spiritual master is the representative of Krishna, and so ultimately, by the spiritual master's mercy, we'll get the mercy of Srimati Radharani and the whole parampara. And so that's so much mercy that if we can actually be humble. So it says in the Bhagavad Gita, Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upateksyanti jegyanam janinas tattva darshanaha, that by rendering service and inquiring submissively from the spiritual master, then they can impart knowledge unto us. So it's with this, as Krishna describes in the Bhagavad Gita, with the shining, the light of knowledge, that he'll destroy the darkness of ignorance. So by the mercy of the spiritual master, then we can have true knowledge and actually see the world as it is. We'll see the material modes of nature, and ultimately yamam so vaviparena bhakti yogena sevati. Sorry, that verse again. Brahma bhuyaya kalpate sagonan samatityetan Brahma bhuyaya kalpate. That when we actually engage in devotional service, we then we're no longer on the bodily platform of life. So simply by that engagement of devotional service. And then Krishna goes on to say in the Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma Nasoshati Nakangshati Samaha Sarva Bhuteshu Madbhaktim Labhate Param. That simply then by that engagement in devotional service, we reach this Brahma Bhuta platform. And Sri Prabhupada, this is actually where we get that, where we're free from that material influence, and we become free from the epitome of the mode of passion, that they're all hankering for material pursuits, and we never hanker or lament, and we become fully joyful. So that's the stage that we aspire for, which is possible immediately through devotional service. So Sri Prabhupada also speaks about, in terms of religion, that's also the platform by which we can have harmony, where people are simply identified with the soul and the constitutional nature of the soul as a servant, rather than as I'm a Hindu, I'm a Christian, Mohammedan. Simply, if we identify with that on the platform of the soul, then that's when we can have harmony in the world, free from the modes of ignorance and passion. So I'd like to ask if there's any questions. Yes, please, Prajampu.
Okay. From my point of view, how do you see me as an older person, and how do you serve me? What motivates you? You know, it seems to me that somehow you're sacrificing yourself. But what motivates you in this particular service that you do for me?
Okay, thank you. That's a tough question, but I'll answer as best I can. Well, ultimately, as we said earlier, that Mame Vamsa Jivalo Ke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, that we're all eternal parts and parcels of Krishna. So ultimately, we know that everyone is very dear to Krishna, and also on a personal level, I see you as a senior and a friend, and ultimately, I try my best to serve you as a dear friend and a spirit soul, ultimately. Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
The question I have is one who puts his life into devotional service and does everything. This life you've done, but what about all the lives you've not done devotional service? What happens there? Would you play catch up with them, or they all get wiped?
Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Shipram Bhavati Dharmatya Shasvak Chantam Nigachati Konteya Pratigyani Na Me Bhakta Pranasiti, that when we engage in Krishna's devotional service, he quickly becomes righteous, and he gains peace from the pangs of material existence. And it says, O son of Kunti, declare boldly that my devotee never perishes. So Krishna, he tells us that, and as I mentioned earlier, that he says, do not fear, that he'll protect us from all sinful reactions. So Krishna is very merciful. It was a devotee gave a class earlier this week that says Krishna doesn't have the material outlook. The material outlook is that if someone sees a mistake, they magnify it. But Krishna is the opposite. If he sees a mistake, he sees it as very little. And if he sees a good thing, he magnifies it. So Krishna is very merciful. And as we engage in devotional service, all our misgivings of the past will simply to be eradicated through devotional service and will become purified. Thank you. I just want to mention that I was also listening to a class today about, it was Jagai and Madai, and I think it was Madai, so Jagai and Madai, they were the greatest rascals that could ever have existed. That Yamaraj was trying to build an extra hell just to accommodate them because you're so sinful. And basically, I think he was having a hard time because they're due for that. And basically, they surrendered and became devotees of the Lord. And when Jagai and Madai Prabhu then became devotees, naturally, when one is under the influence, even if we can see like in the material world, just under the influence of the material modes, material nature, or even one under the influence of material modes and material nature, they become hard-hearted, and even when they're so sinful, they aren't even aware. And so when Jaga and Madai, their heart became pure, they became more aware of how actually sinful they were, and they felt very ashamed, and they actually sought for instruction. And Jagai and Lord Chaitanya said, uh, just engage in devotional service, chant the holy name, and to in some way he instructed. I can't remember the particular way, but basically instructed Madai to do Vaishnav Seva, to serve the Vaishnavas. So that's as well that we can actually become completely free from all contamination. So I'd like to ask if there are any more questions before we finish. Okay, thank you. Okay, Bhagavad Gita ki, Sri Prabhupada ki, all glories assembled devotees. Hare Krishna. Krishna. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharadhari Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashodanandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Smatram Sapritaya Vataya Vati Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda